Welcome back to another edition of TCM Graduate TV. This is episode 64, and today we're moving right along to the second last heavy hitter. That's right, the second last heavy hitter on the Small Intestine channel, Small Intestine 17. Before we get to SI17, I've got a bunch of honorable mentions, and I want to help you out a little bit into how I group these acupuncture points on the back. I have a love-hate relationship, I'm sure you do too, with the Small Intestine channel. Once it moves to the back, it's a little tricky, and I'm not really big on point location. I think point location should be done with a clinical supervisor, using a really good textbook like Deadman, and not from some random guy on YouTube. So please learn acupuncture the right way so we can keep all our patients safe. That being said, let's group some of these together, starting with 9, like we did in the last episode, and work our way to Small Intestine 17. Let's start with SI9. And we know that SI9 is at the axillary fold, the bottom of the axillary fold. And if we take our finger and go for a ride to find the superior scapular spine, we will find SI10 in that depression. Now, as I mentioned before, the equidistant triangle that we can make between 9, 10, and then will create 11. So I group these together, of course, because 9 and 10 equidistant triangle will make 11, and it'll help us find that acupuncture point. So we have the superior border of the scapular spine, and right in the middle is where we're going to find SI12. Now what we do is we find T2 and we find SI10 and we find the midpoint, and that gives us 13. So of course I like to group 9, 10, 11 together, and then I like to group 12 and 13 together. And now 13, 14, 15 are going to kind of mix in together as well, because I like to think of T2, T1, C7. So at T2, in the middle here between SI10, we've got the 13. We're going to move up to T1. 3 chin lateral to T1 is where we find our next acupuncture point. SI14. Now this is really important to remember because we have outer UB points that start at T2. So UB41, of course, is at T2. It's outer UB12. And you take that number, 12 plus 29, and it gives you the outside number. What we have here is on the outside, if you will, of T1. So you've got UB11, and then you go 3 chin lateral. You actually have an acupuncture point there, and it's SI14. Last but not least is SI15, and it's 2 chin lateral to C7. So I'm going to group 9, 10, 11 together. I'm going to group 12 and 13 together, and then I'm going to group 13, 14, 15 together. I'm just going to erase this. We're going to briefly talk about SI16 and how I remember all those acupuncture points on the neck. Hopefully that helps you. And then we're going to talk briefly about our heavy hitter SI17. And we're back. So SI16. So of course, all these back acupuncture points on the small intestine channel, they're honorable mentions because oftentimes patients express that they're having pain or mobility problems, and we can use those acupoints. And same thing with this acupuncture point, SI16. Sometimes we treat the front to treat the back, or there's a local problem that we'd like to use this acupuncture point for. Now, moving from medial to lateral, what I like to do is remember that we have stomach 9, large intestine 18, and then of course SI16. How I remember this is, again, some more math, and I go 9 plus 9 is 18, and 8 plus 8 is 16. Now, we're going to talk about SI17, the acupuncture point you came to learn about. And the reason I use this in the clinic so often is for sore throat. I absolutely love TCM's Thought Acupuncture Chinese medicine. Hopefully that shines through. If a patient comes and tells me they have sore throat, I'm going to ask them, where do you have your sore throat? Because the patient's reality is number one. So if they tell me they have discomfort back here, I'm going to use a Ren 23. If the patient has swelling and or tells me that they have pain on the side, I'm going to use SI 17. There you have it. Lots of great honorable mentions. Great acupuncture point to help you in the clinic. Just want to remind you that safety is king, bedside manner is king, and results are king in that order. Just want to remind you to check out my website, kentonseptic.com, for digital downloads and physical products to help you in your practice. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll make you another one.